Basho, Matsui Basho, The Narrow Road to the Deep North, and other travel sketches, and we're continuing. On the following morning, I made my way to the village of Shinobu to look at the stone upon.
Is that the place where the nuclear reactor, Chernobyl?
No, Shinobu, to look at the stone upon whose checkered face they used to dye a certain type of cloth called Shinobu Suri. I found the stone in the middle of a small village, half buried in the ground. According to the child who acted as a self-appointed guide, the stone was once on the top of a mountain, but to see it did not. That the farmers thought it a nuisance. I thought the story was not altogether unbelievable. I thought we had read this. What's going on here? We have read it. Way off. Yeah. All right. Way off mark. So, we had read the poem, Bathed in Such Comfort in the Balmy Spring of Yamanaka, I can do without plucking life-preserving chrysanthemums. Okay, the host of the inn was a young man named Kimino Suki. His father was a poet, and there was an interesting story about him one day when
How do you spell N?
N. Spell what?
How do you spell it?
Spell what?
The
host.
In-I-N.
The host of the inn was a young man named Komino Suki. His father was a poet, and there was an interesting story about him. One day when Sasitsu, later a famous poet in Kyoto, but a young man then, came to this place, he met this man and suffered a terrible humiliation because of his ignorance of poetry. And so, upon his return to Kyoto, he became the student of Toku and never abandoned his studies in poetry till he had established himself as an independent poet. It was generally believed that
the priority they gave and the honor to be a poet, but instead of being a scientist and so on.
Well, it was generally believed that Taisitsu gave instruction in poetry free of charge to anyone from this village throughout his life. It must be admitted, however, that this is already a story of long ago. My companion, Sora, was seized with an incurable pain. In his stomach, so he decided to hurry all by himself to his relatives in the village of Nakashima in the province of Ise. As he said goodbye, he wrote, he wrote the poem, no matter where I fall on the road, fall well to be buried. One that goes, it's just as a solitary bird separated from the flock in dark clouds, and wrote an answer. Poem, for this day forth, alas, the dewdrops shall wash away the letters on my hat saying, a party of two. I stopped overnight at the Zen Shoji temple near the castle of Doshoji, just still in the province of Kaga. Sora, too, had stayed here the night before and left behind the following poem. All night long I listened to the autumn wind howling on the hill at the back of the temple. Sora and I were separated by the distance of a single night, but it was just the same as being separated by 1,000 miles. I too went to bed amidst the howling of the autumn wind and woke up early the next morning amid the chanting of the priest, which was soon followed by the noise of the gong calling me to breakfast. As I was anxious to cross over to the province of Achizan in the course of the day, I left the temple without lingering. But when I reached the foot of the long approach to the temple, a young priest came running down the steps with a brush and ink and asked me to leave a poem behind. As I happened to notice some leaves of willow scattered in the garden impromptu. Poem. I hope to have gathered to repay your kindness, the willow leaves scattered in the garden. And left the temple without even taking time to refasten my straw sandals. Hiring a boat at the port of Yashishaki on the border of the province of Echizen, I went to see the famous pine of Shiogashi. The entire beauty of this place, I thought, was poem. Inviting the wind to carry salt waves of the sea, the pine tree of Shiogashi trickles all night long, shiny drops of moonlight.
You see now this poet, the name of this poet, you should write it down so we can find
Sagyo, he's all the people that Basho liked, so they're the classics. We can look up the prior classical poets. Yeah, the other poets.
Read the poem again.
He's one of many poets. Inviting the wind to carry salt waves of the sea, the pine tree of Shiogashi trickles all night long, shiny drops of moonlight. See, he's traveling to the north to find the sights from the other poets. That the poems, he's read the poems. The reason he's traveling is to see the things that influenced the prior poets.
Trickling, what's exactly the word trickling?
Trickling is just droplets falling down, trickling drops dropping down, trickling. Like the sink is running with drops of water, trickling. When the sink is running. Is that enough for now? We can pause.